I get it. These last 6 months for you have been tough. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Every once in a while you get a hard hit of motivation and you start watching videos like these that get you fired up to do better, to be better. For an entire week you start to go to the gym, you eat healthy, and you feel like you're actually progressing. But somehow things happen and you get thrown right back to the bottom. You know you have so much potential, but instead of using it, you watch other people live the life that you know should be yours. I know how you feel. I do. 2 years ago, I was lost. I had no direction, I had the wrong friends, and I had horrible habits, but somehow I still knew that I wanted to be great. Look, if you actually want to take control of your life, then it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you your nights out, your free time. It might even cost you your entire social life. But when you look at people like LeBron James or Steve Jobs, they didn't become the best in their field from luck. No, it took a certain level of focus and obsession that's almost impossible to mimic. They understood that you need to enter a season of metamorphosis where you kill the old version of you so a new one can emerge. I'm gonna shoot straight. This video is for people who are tired of losing. So if that's not you, then do me a favor and click off this video. If you're still here, there's something you need to come to terms with. Right now, you're at the bottom, but there's beauty in that because there's only one direction left to go, and that's up. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 steps that will help you have the greatest comeback of your life in 90 days. If you are willing to commit, I promise that you will evolve into the person that you know you're meant to be. The first step is simple, yet so many people forget about it. They think that progress just comes from making drastic changes to your lifestyle overnight, but those are the same people who can't stay consistent, because before you get started, you need to examine your environment. Where are you right now? What has caused you to stay stagnant in this place? You need to find the answers to why you haven't made any progress. Consistency comes from knowing where the landmines are and creating plans to avoid them. If you don't do this, you're gonna run into these same problems. It's easy. I just want you to spend 5 minutes with a blank sheet of paper and write what is holding you back. It could be shitty friends or bad habits, whatever it is, let the paper be your safe space and let it all out. For most people, their friends are the catalyst for everything. If you're around people who have bad habits, then you will too have those bad habits. See, self-improvement does not come from adding a million things to your morning routine or taking cold showers. It comes from deleting things from your life. So many people reach out to me and ask what my secret is, but I don't have one. The secret is simply don't be around shitty people who get you to compromise on your goals. If you tell your friends that you need to be in bed by 9 and they still ask you to go out and do things that you shouldn't be doing, then they aren't your friends, they are the enemy. And no, I'm not saying to get rid of all of your friends, but I am saying that the majority of them are not gonna help you get closer to your goals. And to go even deeper, during some seasons of your life, you will have no friends and you will feel alone. Because for a period of time, everyone will despise you because you remind them of what they failed to do. But if I told you that was the cost of achieving your goals, would you pay it? You can't have a better life and still do the same things. You gotta pick one. Either you're gonna go all in on getting better, which means purging certain things from your life, or you're gonna stay the same. This step, where you're examining where you are right now, will be the backbone for everything that you build in the future. You just gotta take it. Now that you know where you are, this next step in the process is so crucial, and that's connecting the dots, because you can't aim straight if you don't know where the target is. Understanding what you want your life to look like in this 90 days is going to help us come up with a plan for you. I don't know why this is a trend, but for some reason, gurus love selling you the idea that you should prioritize everything. They tell you to get the girls, work out, build a business, start making content all at once. If everything is a priority, then nothing is. The entire essence of a priority is the fact that you're not doing anything else but that thing. So when you're thinking about what you want to change, you have to narrow it down. What's the one thing that, if prioritized, would make your life so much better? When Steve Jobs started Apple, he wasn't trying to become the best golfer and the best entrepreneur and the best hairstylist. No, he was dead set on building Apple. Everyone romanticizes the idea of being good at multiple things, but it's a facade. You have to become ruthlessly clear on the objective for the season and treat everything else like a distraction. And that is the hard part, because most people suck at letting go of things in their life. But I promise you that's what it takes to be good at anything. When I went all in, I cut my workouts in half, I stopped going to friend events, and I limited my interactions with anything other than the work. Did I miss out on stuff? Of course I did. But I gained so much more. The knowledge, the skills, the reps, these are all things that I got in return, and those things are irreplaceable. This even means treating some good things like a distraction. For example, I love listening to podcasts, but unless I was on a walk or on my way to class, I didn't go out of my way to listen to them. Any free time that I had either went to working or recovering from the work I just did. And for this period of your life, you're gonna have to communicate to the people closest to you that, hey, I have this big goal and right now I'm kind of at this place, but I need to spend these next 90 days getting better. Going ghost is not just about disappearing, it's about reconnecting with yourself and your goals. And that's what these next 90 days are all about. But I know what you're thinking. How do you balance this with all of the other responsibilities? If you're like me, you have work or school, but you won't struggle with balancing everything because you're gonna be time blocking. The biggest hurdle that I had to get over when I was trying to improve was waking up every day and not knowing where to start. I'd have like a big list of to-dos, but I didn't know when to work on stuff, for how long, or anything else. That's when I found time blocking. To me, it's systematically creating my calendar around the things that I have to get done. So every night I would pick 2 to 3 things that I know would get me closer to my goal, and I would put those tasks in my calendar so I knew when to work on them. If you don't know how to pick the 2 or 3 things, don't worry, because I'm gonna show you towards the end. But I treat my calendar like I'm a Fortune 500 CEO. I follow it to a T and I update it as I go. And this has helped me see where my time is going and also see where I can improve. Let's take 2 scenarios. Scenario A is one where you planned your day the night before and you wake up and you get straight to work. That's amazing. That's maximum productivity and everything we could ask for. The alternative is you wake up and you do your morning routine and you sit down and you look at your list of to-dos and you start to prioritize certain things like, okay, maybe I should do this one, or maybe I should do this one. And maybe after 30 minutes, you finally have your 2 to 3 things. Even though it's a small amount of time, you've already wasted your decision points. The most successful people in the world understand how important mental bandwidth is because you can only make so many decisions in a day before your brain gives out on you. So planning the night before is your best friend. If you just go through the day aimlessly, you'll never achieve anything because you don't even know what you're gonna be working on. And time blocking helps you never to run into those problems. And I know you're probably like, MJ, when I start working, how do I know that after 3 months I'll hit my goal? Here's the trick, you don't. You just focus on your inputs. Most people who get started on this track are doing the right things, but because they don't have the right feedback loops, they become inconsistent. If you solely focus on the outputs, then you won't see any progress quick enough and you'll want to quit. But if you just make it about the inputs, then you'll get better every single day. When I'm in periods where I really need to lock in, I ask myself, how much work do I need to do to make it unreasonable that I don't hit my goal in X time period? When I started my business, I told myself that if I could reach out to 150 people a day, then after 3 months, I would sign at least 1 client. And I literally became obsessed with making the 150 reach outs the goal. And it only took 2 weeks for me to find my first client because I showed up every day and made the inputs the goal. If you can detach yourself from the result and just focus on the inputs, then every day will be a win because you know that you worked hard. But even if you do this right, the next problem you're gonna run into is, what if you're not working on the right things? Getting better at anything is not about watching motivational speeches and getting fired up. It's about doing the work, but not just any work, doing the right work. It's very easy to watch this entire video and be like, okay, I need a time block, I need to focus on inputs, I need to see where I am right now. Okay, great, I'm ready to go. But those aren't all the pieces. Doing the right work starts from setting realistic goals and then understanding how to prioritize. I'm a college student, and a lot of my peers have the goal to get better grades. But see, that's a loaded goal. There's not just one thing you can do to achieve that. Getting to a place where you finally have insert your goal is based on the ability to define the primary actions. To me, I define primary actions as the things that you do that have a direct correlation to hitting your goal. So if I'm trying to get better grades, then sure, going to a club meeting is school related, but it won't get me there, while taking that time to go to office hours will. And the trick is you have to figure out the things that are gonna get you even closer. So even if going to office hours will get you closer, do I have more leverage just studying on my own? Or do I learn better with somebody else? And it's about weaving through that. It seems so simple, but everyone has a certain way of rationalizing the things that they wanna do. But at some point, you have to say no to that inner voice that's just trying to distract you. Everything that's not a primary action for the main goal is a distraction. So when you sit down to do work, force yourself to stay focused on only the primary actions. Making the dials, sending the emails, doing the assignments, or studying the practice test, or whatever it might be. You have to work on the things that are actually gonna move the needle forward. That, my friends, is what I mean when I say you have to do the right work. Look, at the end of the day, you have 2 options. Either you can look back on the next 90 days and feel like you just wasted time, or you can finally win the fucking season. When I saw where I was, made a plan, and focused on the inputs, it completely changed my life. And now I'm hoping these lessons can change yours too. Now that you know what you need to do, your next question is gonna be, how do I plan my day around making this happen? And I am so glad you asked. Click this video right here or right here, and I'll show you exactly how I do it.